All right, so now we're going to try to install Octave. Okay, so Octave you can just search for Octave and you should see GNU Octave. And GNU is one of those computer science terms, which means GNU is not Unix, so its name is its name. It's sort of a recursive naming. And other than that, I don't know what else to tell you. All right, so we can go here, we can figure out the history. There's some chemistry professors, one at Rawlings University, or chemical reactor designs, one at the University of Texas, and they created this software. Okay, and now it's grown quite a bit and has a bunch of supporters and ships with certain versions of Linux. And there is some versions for Windows. I think I have an older version already installed on my computer, and so I forgot everything pretty much, and I'm going to just take you through the steps. Okay, it looks like it's 175. Oops. Looks like it's 175 megabytes, so we might be here for a minute. But lucky for you, I can just stop the video. All right. So now that we have downloaded Octave, we're going to go ahead and install it. And like I said, I think I have a previous version, so I don't know what's going to happen here. All right, so close all other applications. We're just going to ignore that, and we are going to. This is Open Blast. It's basic linear algebra system, or something basic linear algebra something. So that's fine with me. All right, now we're going to install it, and I'm going to go ahead and pause this again so as not to bore you while this is extracting. All right, so that took a couple minutes there, and also took a couple minutes to download. So let's look at the Readme file and let's go ahead and run it, see what happens. All right, so the Readme now is online. Okay, this is the linear algebra library selection. Look at here. I have a wait cursor here, so I'm waiting. Maybe I can just drag these guys. Okay, here we go. So look here. We got our nice GUI, and let's go ahead and read the Readme. Okay. So we can get more packages for Octave, and looks like those are all the announcements. Okay. All right, so nothing that we really need to pay attention. And by the way, these are being uploaded as links onto Blackboard. So this here is the equivalent of our editor. Remember last time we had an editor. This is where we wrote our script. Okay, here's our file browser. This is where our file is located. And this is kind of compact right now because I'm actually trying to fit it into this certain screen size so you have high enough resolution. Okay. And this is version 4.0.0. Okay, in software that last digit is usually a minor revision. Okay, this is a more major revision and this is a major revision. So Octave has gone through 4 major revisions and I'm sure a number of minor revisions. All right, so here I'm just going to hit F5. Okay, that's how we run the file in MATLAB, and this gives us the save as prompt. Not responding. There we go. All right, so you can save this somewhere on my local disk. Okay, oh no, I want to put this. Let's see here. Actually, I want to put it in Dropbox. Okay. So you can save your file wherever you want. I'm going to just put it over here in teaching, and this is fall 2015, and this is an Octave file. We'll say intro to Octave. Now remember, keep spaces out of this for MATLAB. I don't know how. All right. So this is giving us a message that says that wherever we just stored that file, it's not where it normally looks for files. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my directory to be where the file is, where I just saved it. Another thing you can do is add that directory to the load path. What that means is that every time the software that you run Octave, and if you try to run that file, it'll look in those directories for that file. I don't really want it to look in that directory every time. I just want to change that directory because I know where it is. And you see that file shows up here, Intro to Octave, along with some other stuff from this semester's teaching. And now that I hit F5, it actually ran it, and you can see down here the output, Intro to Octave, means it ran the file. Of course, nothing was in the file, so nothing happened. So now we can say x equals 2, hit F5 again, and you see we get our output, x is equal to 2. Just like in MathCAD, I can put a semicolon behind it and run it again, and I suppress the output, don't get anything out. I can do y equals 5, and I can do x plus y, and run it. Okay, and then I get y is equal to 5, and the answer is 7. And again, the reason we didn't get the x is because we had the semicolon. We could put another semicolon. Now you can see here we get some syntax highlighting, so I'm sure you could go to the options and change, the equal signs and the numbers and how each one of them is run. Okay, so this is how we do in our Octave. Now remember, we can create a matrix, so we could say A is equal to open bracket 1, 2, 3 semicolon means a new row, 4, 5, 6 semicolon 7, 8, 9 end bracket. Okay, so I'm just going to hit F5 so I can see a matrix, and you can see that matrix is down here. Okay. Now, I know that I cannot take the inverse of this matrix because you can't divide by 0. So I'm going to try to take the inverse here, a raised to the minus 1 power, and I'm going to hit F5. And it gives me an answer that's total crap. Now, the reason we get these numbers is because we are in using a computer, and none of these numbers are really perfectly 0. Okay, and this is some of the differences that you're going to get in a software package like MATLAB, where it may tell you, hey, you cannot take the inverse because you can't divide by 0. But here in Octave, they let us do it, but then they go all the way to e to the 15th power. Okay, now let's look at the determinant. We can do that by calling the determinant. And you can see here we get these nice hints that pop up when we start typing. So like if you did average, AV, available graphics, or well, maybe average is not one. But we see we can get the commands. So we can do inverse, so it gives us some nice commands. So what do we want to do? We want to take the determinant. Okay, you can also take the rank, random number. So it gives you a nice little hints as you're typing. It's pretty useful. All right, so here we're going to take the determinant of A, and I want to see how big it is. Now A hasn't changed. Okay, when we defined A here, it's still A. And when we take A inverse, we just are taking the inverse of A, but we're not reassigning it to A. So it's okay for us to take the determinant down here. It should be the same thing. Okay, and we see here that the determinant is 6.6 times 10 to the minus 16. Okay, so it's 0 for all practical purposes. Now, we could do stuff like say, if the determinant of A is less than 0.000001, then we can say display this joker is 0. Okay, and I don't know if this is going to work because we could say else display, okay, not 0. A little creative here, huh? All right, so we run that. Now we got syntax error. Okay, so syntax errors. Okay, I need a parenthesis there. So, close quote here. So let's run that again. So it ran, and let's see here. Maybe it's this display. We don't know what that means. It'll work, but for whatever reason it's not working. Let's see if this works. So in MATLAB,